Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyle. Thank you all so much for joining me today. It's been a moment since I've done a death journal, but that's because life has been happening. I wanted to take the time to share what I've been reflecting on and what my practices have been looking like and what I've been integrating into my life more as of recent. Also, I put chapters in my videos, so if there's a certain section that you're looking at, you can check the description box for the timestamps. So I wanted to start off by talking about the daily practices that I am engaging in to keep me grounded and focused. My three main things are journaling, meditating, and exercise. And as of late, exercise has been my biggest priority of those three. Over the past month, I've been experiencing waves of depressive episodes, and when I start my day off by exercising, it really sets my day up to be more successful than a day where I don't. So I'm really focused on exercising right now, more so than meditating or journaling if I have to sacrifice one of those two. And just allowing for whatever exercise that I'm participating in to draw my attention out of my mind, out of my head, and into my body, and focus on strengthening my exterior to strengthen my interior. And just being more mindful about my exercising and being more focused on it rather than kind of just going through the motions and hoping for results. So using exercise as a form of meditative practice in order to strengthen my mental health. I think the way that you frame exercise really makes an impact on how beneficial it is for you and how you can use it to help you the most and make the most of your time. From all of the people that I watch on YouTube and their daily lives, there's a lot of consistency in what the people that I admire, what they do in their mornings. And that includes exercising, journaling, and meditating. I always see those three things happening with all of the people who live the way that I want to be living. And I think that these rituals that we perform every morning to start our days off can be seen as small promises to ourselves. So keeping these small promises to ourselves and committing to doing certain things every morning helps build our self-trust and our self-worth back up and gives us confidence to live in the reality that we want to live in. I pretty much journal every day. The meditation always tends to turn into a nap half of the time. But I always just thank myself for showing up anyways and trying. At the very least, it's always nice to try. And when I journal, I really try and aim for 3 pages of journaling as indicated by the book, The Artist's Way, which I haven't read yet, but I always hear about the 3 pages. And so it's just a habit that I'm trying to form on my own. But again, also just allowing whatever needs to be written and not judging myself if it's shorter or if it's even longer. And just allowing for that journaling time to be a reflective moment on the day to pick out my highlights, to pick out my highs and my lows, and kind of see what we can improve upon for the next day and how I can make every new day better than the day before. The next thing I want to talk about are these moments of letting go of control and shifting that into trusting myself. I've always had a problem in the past where I kind of try and force myself to be joyful or get upset with myself when I'm not experiencing joy or experiencing some type of high moment. Or on the same end, being angry with myself whenever I'm experiencing a low or working through something more difficult and wondering why I can't just be happy. So that relates to not trying to force certain feelings or emotions to emerge, and rather taking whatever feeling and emotion that you're presented with in the moment and just letting it be. And trusting yourself that you'll be able to move through that emotion, and knowing that if it's a good emotion, you're gonna move through that good emotion no matter what. And if it's a bad emotion, to hang in there, keep going, and you'll also move through that emotion as well. So this practice of a year to live, this death practice, is a lot of me confirming to myself that I trust myself. In the past month, when I've been going through these episodes of depression, I always end the day with journaling, and in my journal, I might not be feeling the best when I'm journaling, but I'm always writing every day that I believe in myself. I know you can do this. Remember who you are. Remember what you're made of, and things along that nature. I am in such a beautiful spot in my life right now, and that's because I have trusted myself in the past to make the decisions that allowed me to get to the place that I'm in now. So just remembering all of the moments in the past that I have allowed myself to trust myself and to follow my intuition, and also taking time to remember all the small ways that I trust myself every day. So trusting myself that I will provide myself 3 meals a day to nourish my body, trusting myself that I will give myself water whenever I'm thirsty, trusting myself that I will drive safely to work and make it to work okay. So there's just endless ways in which we trust ourselves. And so if you're dealing with not believing in yourself or not trusting yourself, taking a moment to recognize all the small things that we do every day that we take care of ourselves that we don't recognize. And also in the moments where we don't necessarily feel the love or we feel disconnected, trusting that we are made of love no matter what we're feeling like, and that we can move through our thought patterns and our habits that don't serve us in order to get to a place that makes life more beautiful. Another reflection that's come up through the chapters of A Year to Live that I've been reading is on self-compassion, self-forgiveness, and gratitude. In the book, there's a chapter and a section in the chapter that talks about how the mind is so trained to cling on to inflicting pain on itself. It's so conditioned to the self-cruelty and the self-torture, and at certain times it refuses to let go of that pain because it is so familiar to us. So calling in forgiveness, calling in compassion, calling in gratitude has been a huge focus for me over this past month. Sometimes I don't realize it, but I know that I have so much guilt and shame for the way that I have treated myself in the past. And whenever those moments are coming up, I just try and do my best to flood myself with compassion and forgiveness. In these moments, I will literally just sit there and repeat the word like compassion, compassion, compassion to myself, because that's what's working for me right now. I don't really have like an intricate mantra or a quote or a phrase that's like helping me through this. I'm really just using the words compassion and forgiveness and repeating them into my head. And it's working for me. And in those moments, like, I find myself guiding myself a lot more gently through those turbulent feelings. So I'm going to keep doing that and just being very basic about it until there comes a time when that phrasing evolves on its own and I'm presented with a new phrase that will better serve me. But for now, just sticking with the basic building blocks and doing the best I can. I had to catch up on the book because I was behind from our homework, so I was like chapters behind. And reading it as I was like catching up, I realized like my journey is so alongside the chapters of the book. On my own time, I've been stumbling into this world of self-compassion and self-forgiveness and trying to figure out what that means. And then as I'm reading these chapters, I come across the chapters of gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion, and it's just so right alongside where I'm at. It's just a really good reminder for me that I am on the right path, that I'm not doing anything wrong, that if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to emerge into a new place. A place that's easier, where I can better serve myself, where I am more mindful, where I can pay more attention, where I take my time to go slowly and to appreciate this life for what it is. and to live in the moments more fully. So trying to remind myself that in moments of unease, I have tools like this book that I can turn to help me through anything that I might be going through. Another idea I've been reflecting on is authenticity and kind of like the reason why I made this channel. When it comes to authenticity, I think it's still a habit of mine to kind of try and morph myself into someone that I am idolizing. Rather than letting someone simply inspire me and kind of guide me into who I am, I try and become that person. And I think that's kind of tied into living a life in habits to where I was suppressing who I truly was. And so it's just another condition that I've stumbled upon that I now have the opportunity to break free from. So seeing the people on social media that inspire me, and rather than trying to change myself to become more like them, I take that inspiration and convert it into an energy that allows me to release my true self. So rather than just thinking about authenticity as just being and be who you are, thinking of it more as a practice. We've been so conditioned to morph and mold to different people that we're around or the different environments that we see ourselves in. A lot of people always say, who I am with my family is different than who I am with my friends, is different than who I am at work. And that doesn't really resonate for me. So that finds me asking myself, how can I allow myself just to exist around all of these different people and all of these different spaces without sacrificing any part of me and just allowing myself to be whole wherever I'm at? And again, those answers just show up in the practice of being authentic. And there isn't just one single answer. It just comes out whenever you're presented with the different situations that you experience. And being able to recognize and honor the moments that you see glimpses of your true self coming out and chasing those moments rather than chasing ideas of what you can be or who other people are, knowing what you have been and what you have felt and bringing that back out. The last thing I kind of want to talk about is presence and like trying to figure out what presence is and how we can experience it more as relating to death. So in my opinion, the process of death, the act of dying, is going to be the most present we'll ever be in our entire life. Truly, everything will fall away. There won't be any thoughts, there won't be any distractions, there won't be anything calling your attention other than the process of dying. So pursuing presence in everyday life as in relation to death and being able to show up for death whenever it arises in whatever form that it comes, which I think is very difficult when you think about tragic deaths, or if you die in a car accident or you have a heart attack, how will the process of death show up for you? And how can you build presence enough to where you are still present for death, even when it seems very difficult to achieve that presence in those tragic moments? What can you say in those last moments when death isn't peaceful? How can we direct our soul to follow the guiding light of love under the circumstance of death that we're presented with? So that's just a way to think of presence as we're alive now in these moments. Taking in all of the moments that we feel truly allowed to be here. Taking in any of the moments that we truly feel alive, where the connection feels so deep and we feel so aligned in our bodies and our minds and our hearts that we can't help but smile. Taking in all of those small moments of presence as an act of death contemplation. So yeah, the lesson is to live your life. I actually missed our Year to Live class last month because I was living my life. I was in Hawaii and there was kind of hope for me to attend the class because of the time difference, but I just didn't because I was in Hawaii and living my life. And so just knowing that when life calls, you answer. So that's about everything that I wanted to share today. Thank you to everyone who is watching these videos. Please take whatever resonates with you and leave the rest behind. Also, please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any thoughts about anything that I shared, please leave it in the comments. I would love to respond. Wishing you all a very beautiful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.